faith as a person makes us who we are as a business person. If I can't trust you as my friend and I can't trust you as my neighbor, I surely don't want to do business with you. And if I live a different life outside of my community and then I come into the business set and I treat you totally different, then that's not good either. So first I'd like to tell you about myself, because that's who I am in business. When I prayed about it, I said, Lord, what do you want me to bring to the meeting? What can I contribute? And he says, yourself. Mm-hmm. He says, be yourself and speak from within, because that's who you are in business. So I just don't want a bookkeeping business. I want a business that I can actually minister to someone when they come in. You know, if, like I told you, I think at one of the other meetings that I was to, a lady came and she sat down and she says, I've never done this without my husband before. She says, he died this year. He took care of everything. Well, it gave me an opportunity to really console her, you know, and say, well, it's going to be all right. We're going to get through this and you're going to do a wonderful job. I want to be about his business while I'm about doing things for myself. I'm moving to the Chrisfield office on November the 1st. I actually have a partnership with the H&R Block office. I'll be there for tax season, but I'll also be there all year long for bookkeeping, payroll services, and things of that nature. I'll be using his office and his utilities and things, so that's the part he plays in it by allowing me to run my business myself. The services that we're going to offer is accounting and bookkeeping and FAFSA, which is very popular this time of year because all the kids are going back to school. You know, the parents who really don't want to deal with the paperwork of FAFSA, but you know, you might do their tax return and say, look, you have children in college, I can help you with your FAFSA. I had a guy come in this week, and because of everything that was going on in the economy, he said, I'm wondering if it'd be okay to take some money out of my IRA, which is not doing nothing. He was an older gentleman, and we want to pay our house off instead. So, you know, technology is so great now. You've got all these programs that you can sit and say, well, let's see what this will do if we do that. It actually came out in his favor to pay his house off. He was way over the limit of being able to take money out without being penalized. And it gave us a chance to sit down, and instead of him doing it and saying at the end of the year, tax time coming, he says, my gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. That didn't turn out so well. So now he feels like he can go ahead and do it, go into it comfortable, you know, and feel good about it. Our client base that we serve is individuals, farmers. I just passed my certification on farm tax returns this summer. I was so proud of myself, but not counting that we've had a farm for 20 years, so that kind of helped me out a little bit. You know, I had an insight on what some of the other girls in the office did. And I also passed my clergy this summer, so I was pretty excited about that too. Being I already had clergy clients, I guess they were pleased that I passed it. And we do construction, waterman. I mean, we have a wide variety of clients, big and small. It doesn't, you know, it's not that we do large ones. I like a small group, you know, and just being able to help people. It's like we've talked before. I just got a client from Chincoteague. She makes organic dog bones. She actually has the contract for the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel for the seagull treats that you get if you cross the bridge with a pet. She came in, papers flying everywhere. I mean, she come in with her corporate book. She had stuff tucked under her arm, and her hair was all every which way. And she sat down and she said she actually got a big break. She's working out of her house, and she actually got a break to have her products put in a animal catalog. So now she's like, oh, I've got to get all this done. She's got to hire employees because now it's not just her and her daughter. She didn't know what to do about employees. She says she couldn't keep up with the paperwork side of it with her and her daughter. She says, I'm getting notice he's paying fines, getting reinstated. Getting notice he's paying fines and getting reinstated. She said, I just can't deal with this paperwork. I just want to make a dog biscuit. And I said, well, you've come to the right place because we like the paperwork. And that reminds me, again, I told you, everything is based on faith. and the scripture in Romans where it says we're all of one body. The hand can't function without the arm. You can't function without the leg. We all come together to make one body, but we all have many different parts and many different jobs. So if you know somebody that is a little bit behind the 8 ball right now, you know, you've got September and October to take advantage of it. The other thing I put in your packet, which really doesn't have to do with a business, but is the first time home buyer's credit. You know, you see that on the sign all the time. Why aren't you taking advantage of the $8,000? Well, sometimes that can be a little bit misleading because everybody doesn't get $8,000. And even if your house price puts you up to the $8,000, there's a few stipulations, like you can't buy a house from a relative. So if your grandmom let you buy her house, you're not eligible for the $8,000. Or if you make over $75,000 as a single person, it starts to decline. Your $8,000 starts to go away. You know, it starts to fade out. You can't buy a house in Washington, D.C. I don't know why, but that's one of the stipulations. You can't buy a house in Washington, D.C. And let's say Angela and her husband, she's owned a house in 3 years, but he hasn't. Well, you can get half of it. You don't get your half, but he gets his half. So you can't own a house for 3 years, but if one of you has, then you can still get a half of it, which would be $4,000 instead of $8,000. It is a wonderful, wonderful deal if you meet the qualifications for it, and it really isn't hard to meet. It's not hard to meet them, especially if you are really a first-time home buyer. But it's like, so let's say you're buying a mobile home and it's $75,000. You're not going to fit the scale of the $8,000, but you might get 3 or 4. You know, most time if your house is 140, 150 or higher, it'll qualify for the whole $8,000.
Now,
Tax free.
Is it a tax credit? Or
It's a tax credit, not a deduction.
Oh.
So that's a biggie. That comes like, bam, here's your check. You know, it's a tax credit because credits are dollar for dollar. Tax deductions just lower your taxable income, and you don't have to pay it back. So it's like, here, you need $8,000. Okay.
Now, what do you get it? At
Takes
tax?
it takes when like if you filed your income tax and you're waiting for your return, it takes 6 to 8 weeks. Yep. So that's where part of our money goes. But 6 to 8 weeks, and it comes with your income tax check, your income tax refund. Or if you're in the hole $2,000 or $3,000, the $8,000 comes off of it, and you get the balance. We had a lot of people at H&R Block this year file amended returns, because Obama was giving you the chance, if times were really tight, that you could pick it up on your 08 return instead of waiting until 09. Let's say you bought a house in January, February, March, April, before April the 15th. You picked it up, and he was giving you a chance to pick it up early so that you could take advantage of it sooner. But you can't come back in 09 and ask for it again. But it's a wonderful, wonderful tool if anybody can take advantage of it.